What BS are you dealing with at work right now? My gluten allergy did me dirty. Boss just told me that she's actually going to take the time I spent in my bathroom out of my paycheck. Thank God this is my last week. That is highly illegal in most states. Like sue for thousands of dollars and get your boss fired levels of illegal. Bar manager and 20% of the staff quit. Owner hasn't hired anyone. It's been 3 months. No one can take unexpected days off or call in sick and inventory is at an all-time low. Except the kegs. So many kegs. We keep running out of frickin' everything. I, and others, have offered to help over the summer and nothing has come of it. The restaurant is expanding and we need more employees, but my boss is too focused on having us dust during construction, replacing glassware with crystal, and setting up public accessible training courses to bother with actual management. Oh, and communication is non-existent, so I regularly show up to work and have no idea where crap is or what the new procedures are. Sounds like you need to go talk to the bartender circle of your city and find a new place where you'll be appreciated. Lately, whenever the mother of one of my students pisses off the father, they divorced 4 months ago, he will send all 3 of their kids in mismatched clothes with shirts that have some variation of I love my dad or daddy's kid. I have not seen the same shirt twice and believe mom throws the shirts out and dad just keeps buying more. I'm sorry, but that's hilariously petty. I do feel sad for the kids though. It must be disheartening to be used that way between parents. Being scheduled on basically every day I was supposed to have off. I'm not even supposed to be here today. I have a vendor who gives me the same answer every day that I email him. Let me check and get back to you. His shipment has slipped by over 2 months at this point and it's driving me nuts. He's doing the same thing to other people in my office on other projects. He's on a quick list to be blacklisted, but unfortunately, the clients love his stuff. Unless they're the owner, call their boss. Whenever this happens to me, I call their boss and just say I haven't been able to get a hold of so and so, can you help me with this? Vendor suppliers subcontractors work for you, not the other way around. A third party keeps insisting that an individual worked for my company. They did not. We have searched everywhere. We have punched in every variation of their name, birthday, social security number into our system. Dude didn't work here, and well, this other woman says he did isn't an argument. I'm sorry, so and so doesn't work here, and even if they did, we are not in the habit of giving out information on employees. I manage all the tools, parts, and materials for a small electrical company. We have a ton of little fittings, couplings, and such that are very small and have multiple parts. We recently let one of our journeymen go, and I'm in the process of clearing out his van. Turns out he was hoarding tens of thousands of fittings in his van, all mixed together with absolutely no organization. To top it off, at least 60% of them were completely disassembled before being just chucked into drawers, boxes, and bags along with mixed bolts, nuts, fasteners, etc. So it is now my job to take these collections of assorted hardware and dump them out, separate them, and reassemble as many as I can before restocking them in my already overflowing shop. My boss asked if I would be working tomorrow afternoon. When I said yes, he ominously replied, "Interesting." It's my boss's birthday. Not a lot of folks respect her. I'm new to the department and was asked by Don to collect money on Friday to get her flowers. He was going to bake a cake and bring it in. He was sick yesterday so didn't come to work. I collected a measly $19 from others. Awkward af because no one even likes her. Topped it up with my own 10 to get a decent bunch of flowers. Bought yesterday evening and brought in this AM. Don is in and says I couldn't find the money you collected. Do you have it? I said I used it yesterday to buy the flowers. Wasn't that the plan? He replies with an attitude. Well, number. I ask why it matters and he says, well, I couldn't bake the cake because I was sick, so I don't know what we're going to do now if the money's used up. We can't get a cake now. Another girl nicely chimes in that she will run out and grab a cake and don't worry Don, it's all fine. Don's a snippy guy so I don't bother asking him how I was to know he's too ridiculous to go get a cake himself. Others are running around asking me if I've seen the money because apparently Don's making it well known that I was supposed to collect money but no one has seen the envelope. Obviously, I took it yesterday. Then I have to explain that I used all the money so I look stupid. I keep throwing in that I was doing exactly as was asked of me, but Jesus Christ, Don, would it kill you to communicate your change of plans to people? I hate when someone collects money and you feel obligated to contribute. Trying to move this frick ass 40 feet fiberglass ladder on my own since everyone called in. Been there, done that. Crappy ass game to play. I work with a woman who CCs her boss on all emails. Her boss follows up on all of the emails 5-10 minutes later. They looks like this. Woman: hey Ganglebert, we're starting this new thing, so can you send us X, Y and Z when you have a chance? Thanks. Her boss. 5 minutes later. Ganglebert, as per woman's initial request, we need these things to move forward. In our previous meeting on the 4th of May, at 2 PM you indicated you could send these to us. I ask you to please send these along ASAP as our initiative depends on good information. Please confirm receipt and indicate when we can expect these documents. I handed in my notice at work and my boss suddenly stopped talking to me. LOL. I handed in mine because they treat me like a punching bag and now they are being nice and chill about everything like they are my best friend. Should have just been that way to begin with, you idiots. Girlfriend took the time off in advance to see a best friend she hasn't seen in 2 years for literally 1 day. Work is currently telling her that they're scheduling a mandatory employee meeting everyone needs to go to or else you get fired. Keep in mind there is barely anything important that ever gets announced at these. I was offered a job at another location. I told my boss about it and my current company offered me a raise to stay. I took it. It's been 2 months and I haven't seen the raise in my paycheck yet. Update. I emailed my boss and asked for an update. They assumed I understood that the raise would begin at our new fiscal year, which starts the 1st of July. So it will be in my next paycheck. Jeff cuts his fingernails every freaking day in his office. How do they grow so fast? Is he a werewolf? Also, he scrapes every last tiny freaking bit out of his yogurt container. It's so loud and he does it for like 3 minutes straight. I feel like I can hear this post perfectly. Boss doesn't understand how time works. I'm at an internship I was extremely excited to have and learn from. I haven't done any work the past 2 weeks. Sounds like you're an engineering student. I wasn't able to hit the target goal for the cancer screening program I work for this year. Basically, my head office asked me to increase the number of people we screen for breast cancer this past year. I agreed to the increased goal, but they then didn't increase my budget enough to actually cover it. So come the end of our fiscal year and I'm having to explain to them over and over why it happened. And my boss just called to ask if I can increase my goal more for next year with no additional funds. The Peter principle alive and well. 2 of my co-workers were promoted out of the department and no one was hired to replace them, leaving me to do the work of 3 people, minimum. Upon expressing that my own hours weren't enough time to get the work done, even with overtime, I was told, you have to get it done. If you can't get it done, it means we'll have to find someone else who will. Robot. What you're looking for is a robot willing to work 24/7 for a barely living wage. Got it. Glad to know the company values my mental health. Yeah, resume dust off time. If they're not even listening, it's never gonna change. I do sound for cover band at a hotel that feels like they're better than or at least equal to an act that sells out stadiums. Every night I deal with 5-60+ year old musicians with expectations that would make Mariah Carey say that's too freaking much. I used to play in an indie band. I felt so bad for the sound guys because the crappy musicians in the bands would blame everything on him. The monitors were too quiet. I couldn't hear myself, the sound guy sucked. It was muddied, he turned me down in the mix. Nah, you guys are just freaking bad. And if you had shown up on time for your sound check, I bet it would have been way better. Client had a full 10 months to review a demo site that we had up. They made a couple of nitpicks and claimed they were happy with it. The site went into staging a few weeks ago and they immediately came up with a list of 50+ issues with it and demand it be fixed or they won't renew the contract. For some reason I thought my contract was up end of August. It isn't. It's up at the beginning of August. I talked to management and it was a total surprise to them. And now they are scrambling to possibly get me a salaried position like they promised, but also saying IDK, the budget might not let us. So I don't know if I'll have a job by the end of the month, or if they'll manage to create something before I leave. Either way, I'm looking for jobs. I'm on my 2-week notice right now, so I'm being treated like crap and having a bunch of extra work piled on. I won't do crap. Sharing an office with OSHA specialist. He has literally nothing to do. Each morning he fills up the 3 Band-Aid dispensers that we have and then stares out the window or sits in front of a blank computer screen all day and keeps freaking clicking with his pen and annoying the crap out of me. Meanwhile, I have so much stuff to do, shoots falling off my table, have tons of emails, people constantly asking for help, and he leans over the monitor and comments, "Busy today, I swear to God I hear one more pen click or stupid comment, we will have our very first work accident and there will be no one to claim it to." Assistant forwarded me a call from a friend colleague of mine. She got one syllable of my friend's name wrong, which wasn't a big deal. The friend and I are working on a big deal, so she's called multiple times since then. My assistant has got her name wrong every time, and despite me correcting her each time, the corruptions are getting further from the mark. Happened again yesterday. The worst butchering of the name yet. I wanted to yell at her, but I took a breath and I said her name is XX. When you consistently say her name wrong, it sounds like you're insulting her. I know you're not trying to insult her, but she is a personal friend and she brings us a lot of business, so please do try to get it right. I don't think I could have handled that better, but she flipped out at me, then told a bunch of the other staff about what an a-hole I am. Ugh. I worked for a supervisor who deliberately mispronounced my co-worker's name so that it sounded like a slur. I took it up the ladder multiple times and management never did a thing. Pee me off. Co-worker was a fantastic human being who worked their ass off. Supervisor was a C. Some dumbass AR clerk who can't match up numbers, so they're threatening to put us on hold until we pay for crap we already paid for. Budget issues. We as a management team just waived our annual increase to make sure there was enough for all of our employees. As we're giving them their annual reviews, raises and new salary info, they don't know we're not getting anything this year. We as a management team just waived our annual increase to make sure there was enough for all of our employees. Respect. Management is too cheap to pay for another worker, so the responsibility is passed to a different person every night. It goes against the policy and procedures of the place, but they don't care. That I hate my job but like the money I make. But is good pay worth the depression? Just saw my director of revenue on Facebook while I'm finishing her month-end report that we should have finished by the 5th of July. I decided frick around Reddit. The sole developer of an application that electrical engineers for some of the biggest companies, Apple, Samsung, Toshiba, etc., around the world rely on, is on a month-long adventure in Africa. I am currently the only person maintaining the application, and I was given access to the repository just 5 days before the creator became unavailable. I've been in this situation so many times. You do nothing at all. That code is frozen off for the next 30 days. You don't even let anyone know you're the backup if you can. If something happens, you tridge and just keep her working. Restart whatever the frick you have to, damage control and SAR work. You'll be fine. My last day is Friday, so they made me write a guide on how to do my job because no one else knows how. We're supposed to do more upselling, but it's very hard to do in our department when customers just want to pretty much get in and get out. Hopefully I'm not fired for it. At an old job we were actually told by middle management they expected us to sell a phone contract to people coming to buy printer ink. I said I'd do it if he showed me he could do it. That topic was dropped quickly. Lots of people have seen us Bigfoots. That was pretty scary for them. #feature me.